Wouldn't take him if they wanted him. Anyone could have drafted him in the 5th round, but they didn't. I do not know what you guys are talking about, but I appreciate you guys chatting while I was gone. Deshaun Watson has been named the quarterback 1 in Cleveland. Yes, we all know. Here's the thing. This is a situation where you have a bad, horrible, nasty, deplorable quarterback on and off the field being paid the most guaranteed money in NFL history by an owner by the name of Jimmy Haslam. Jimmy Haslam is also the owner of the Bucks. Ooh, guy who just lost his superstar Giannis Antetokounmpo. Oh, not good. Not good, not good. Jimmy Haslam was not going to let Todd Monken start Shedeur Sanders because of how much money they're paying Deshaun Watson. It's also a win-win for Todd Monken. Right now, you're like, hey, this guy just alienated the entire fan base. He said he doesn't like us. He said it was nasty when we booed him. He said it's about a personal thing. It's not about his performance. Deshaun Watson just railed against the entire Cleveland Browns fan base, and then the next day, Todd Monken named him the starter. To you and I, normal, average American citizens who are smart and rooted in logic, are like, hey, maybe you shouldn't name that guy the starter, right? But wrong. Interesting. Why? The reason is very simple. Todd Monken knows that Deshaun Watson sucks. Todd Monken knows he's not going to be very good. But have you noticed something? Do you hear that? Wait a second. Guys, do you hear that? Wait. Do you notice something about this quarterback situation in Cleveland? Listen very carefully. Do you hear that? No? Neither do I. You don't hear any noise about this situation coming from the Browns locker room. The Browns and every NFL organization have many, many beat reporters that are in that locker room, in that organization, around these players all the time. If you're a member of the Cleveland Browns and you really, really, really don't think that Deshaun Watson should be the starter of your team, it's pretty easy to go walk past a reporter and be like, man, Shedeur, clear QB1. And then that reporter goes, oh, tweet. Anonymous sources within the Browns organization think that Shedeur Sanders should be the quarterback 1. And then it's out. And then there's a leak. And then you have other players talking about this. If you're a player in the NFL and you want news to get out, it's not that hard to do it, right? We haven't heard a single inkling that anyone within the Browns organization, coaches, players, or front office, believe that Shedeur Sanders should be the starter. No one. Not a single person. That tells me two things. It tells me that those players in that locker room believe that Deshaun Watson is a better quarterback than Shedeur Sanders. So they believe that. They're with the guys in practice. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's very good, but it leads me to believe that they think that he's a better quarterback than Shedeur Sanders. The other thing that this does for the Browns organization is it gives Todd Monken a very clear and easy out. Todd Monken is a first-year head coach. He would like to probably be a second-year head coach and a third and a fourth and a fifth, and down the road, maybe a tenured coach. He knows that if he went with Shedeur Sanders right off the bat, couldn't go to Deshaun. You couldn't. You could not start Shedeur Sanders and then go to Deshaun Watson. What you do as an NFL head coach, you start with Deshaun Watson. When he sucks balls, you bring in Shedeur Sanders, and then the entire fan base is like, hey, look, he did it. He did the right thing. He did what we asked him to do. He brought in Shedeur. It's a win-win situation for Todd Monken, and it was the exact right thing for him to do. What is up, brother? You are live on TBWZ Widescreen Radio. What's your name? Where are you calling in from?
This is Alex from Connecticut.
Alex, my friend from CT, calling into TBWZ. Unbelievable stuff, brother. Thanks for jumping on. What do you have for the people today, Alex?
I think you hit the nail on the head with the recent things you're saying about Deshaun Watson. It's a stupid move by the Browns. Well, not stupid in the sense, for the reasons you mentioned, but there's no reason Deshaun Watson should be the starting quarterback for the Browns. He has not played well. He's coming off injuries. He has injury concerns. His contract is massive, and he just hasn't performed well. And when he's gotten the chance to play these past few seasons for the Browns, but I think you hit the nail on the head. Monken is trying to save face a little bit and give himself a chance to do the right thing eventually. Because, like you said, if the Browns started Shedeur and he sucked, then they couldn't go back and start Deshaun Watson because that looks really bad on Monken's part. So start Deshaun Watson. If he sucks like we all think he's going to, then you just bench him, start Shedeur, and all the Browns fans get happy once again.
Yeah, and Browns fans are it's a very tough group of people. Obviously, Cleveland is a little bit more of a blue-collar town. This is a team that shipped off to Baltimore, then came back as a new organization. So they've got history there. But ultimately, the hard part for me is like you're starting a guy that's already alienating the fan base. And then the next day you turn around and you're like, actually, no, he's the starter. And then he goes and apologizes for his comments. Browns fans have to understand that neither of these guys are the answer. The hard part for me, Alex, this team is still pretty good. The defense is good. They've got some solid weapons. They've got a great running back. They've got a decent O-line. This team just didn't have a quarterback. And this year, they clearly don't again.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think the Browns, outside of the quarterback, are in a really good spot. You know, they had a few high draft picks this season that should be well. Casey, Concepcion, and Boston, I think, are going to be good wide receivers for them. You know, you package that with a vet like Jerry Jeudy, who has had injury concerns the past few seasons, but Judy's a veteran guy that can teach these young guys a thing or two. And Judkins is a running back that looks like he can be the future on the defensive end. Sure, they traded away Myles Garrett, but they got back a guy who could be, you know, potential Myles Garrett replacement. Not that he's going to be as good as Myles Garrett, the guy they got back, but he's a younger guy who just fits the timeline of that team more, and they got some good draft capital. So all in all, I think the Browns, outside of the quarterback, are in a really good spot to start building, and they're starting to build the blocks of forming a solid team that could be competitive in the AFC North soon.
Alex, I think it's a very well said point, and it's one of the better takes that we've had from a caller in recent history on TBWZ, man. So I appreciate you calling in and dropping some love over there. Brother, before you go, we do a question of the day on this show. And today's question of the day, in honor of my dog who just passed, what's your dog's name, and is he a good boy or a bad boy?
So my dog's name is Lilo, Lilo, and she is a good girl. I mean, she does get a little bit mischievous and try to escape sometimes, but overall she's a pretty good girl. So
do you have a funny story of Lilo escaping the house and you have to like track her down across the neighborhood?
Not me, but my brother had to. My brother was coming home from work one day and no one was home, and my dog somehow escaped with no one being home, with like all the doors closed and everything like that. So somehow she got out of the house. I don't know if the sliding door was open in the backyard, but she somehow escaped, and one of the neighbors in our complex picked her up and said, "Is this your dog?" And we're like, "Yes." So we scooped her up and got her home safely. But she's she can be a sneaky little devil and find ways to escape even when it doesn't seem like there's ways to escape. So
I love when dogs are just being dogs like that. Alex,
absolutely.
God bless. Thanks for calling. Thanks for following. We'll talk soon, bro.
Absolutely. Have a good one.
Peace. We talked about the Cleveland Browns. Let's get my friend Blake's take on this topic. Blake, sorry about the disconnection, but you are back live on TBWZ. How are you, Blake?
Good. I don't know what happened. It just went quiet. Then I don't know.
My connection dropped out. I'm having Wi-Fi issues or internet issues again. So odds are we're going to be facing connection issues throughout the show. But Blake, last time we talked, you were trying to get cleared for waivers to play football. Where are we at with that situation? Have you suited up for the team yet?
So basically, I did go for 2 practices, but basically they told me since I'm newer to the sport, they don't really want me to play and get injured.
So they want you to get an off-season underneath your belt so you don't go in and get absolutely cracked.
Yeah, basically. But I'll play basketball, though.
Nice. You're going to try out for the basketball team. I absolutely love that. Blake, you're calling in to today's TBWZ, having a great time talking about Deshaun Watson in Cleveland. What's your take on that situation there?
I feel like, I don't know, they got to get a better quarterback for now, but they until Shadir Sanders get better, then he should be the quarterback.
You're talking Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
Now, Blake, what about the assertion that the best thing for the Cleveland Browns, don't know if I used that word right, the best thing for the Cleveland Browns would be to have a very, very bad season and get a number 1 overall pick and get a quarterback like Arch Manning or Dante Moore in next year's draft?
I feel like that could be that. Also, I want to talk about the New York Giants a little bit.
I would love to talk about the New York Giants. Let's do it.
They had a decent season last year, with the new guys coming in, right? And yeah.
Yeah, Blake, I think it's a good time for us to play one of our favorite games is Contender or Pretender. So when I ask you about the New York Giants, are they a contender or a pretender, Blake?
I feel like they could be a contender.
Could be a contender, a new option. Yeah, Blake, that team is very interesting. Obviously, they have a new head coach in John Harbaugh, who's a little bit older. The offensive coordinators are Brian Callahan and Matt Nagy. Greg Roman.
Scadaboo and Dart, those guys.
We like Scadaboo a lot on this show. I personally don't know if I think the Giants are going to be very good. I personally have them missing the playoffs. What about you, Blake?
I feel like they will come close to the playoffs, but miss it out by one single loss. They will miss it by one game.
That'd be a very good situation for that team. Blake, obviously you are a fan of the Denver Broncos. The more and more I break down this NFL season, the more I think the Broncos have a legit chance to be the Super Bowl champions this year. That team looks darn good.
Yes, even now the offensive coordinator is now David Webb. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I did not like the Green Bay Packers preseason game.
Yeah. Yeah, preseason games are tough. That was an unbelievable diving catch in center field from the Red Sox. It's 1-0 Miami Marlins, bottom of the second.
So,
unbelievable from Rafaela.
I have a question for you, Zach. What's going on with the Chargers, your team?
Dude, what's going on with the Chargers is our starting center, Tyler Biotz. Biotz got injured and is out for the entire season. We have an issue at left guard. We have some offensive line coming back from injury last year, but they're already getting hurt. My team is experiencing injury and chaos. FC, thank you for the follow. I'm nervous, bro. I'm nervous about my offensive line being able to protect Justin Herbert, but I do believe that they're going to be good.
Hey, how about you just switch to the Rams and come on our side?
You want me to come on to the Rams side and switch away from my Chargers? Blake, maybe we can place a friendly little wager on it. Maybe I'll become a Rams fan if something happens.
What do you mean? What, in what type of case? Or, what?
I don't know. We'll have to think of something. Baker contract here.
Because I really want you to change to the Rams because they're a better Los Angeles team.
They are a better Los Angeles team. The Dodgers are also a better Los Angeles team than my Angels, but I'll never leave my teams, Blake. I'm going to stand true to myself and to my organizations for the rest of time.
How about, if I give you, 2 subs?
If you gift me $16 worth of subs on Twitch, no.
How about 5?
Ooh, 5 subs. So if you give me $37 worth of subs, no.
How about 10?
All right, Blake, now we are talking. You're talking about a $75 bump, a little bonus for Vini to go switch to the Rams. We could talk about it, Blake. I absolutely love it, bro. Before you go, question of the day. Do you have a dog? What is their name? Are they a good girl or boy or a bad girl or boy?
I do have a dog, and his name is he, and his name is Ozzy. But
Ozzy.
He could get a little bit protective against people, but sometimes he's a good dog.
Sometimes he's good, and other times he's protective?
Yeah.
Blake, I absolutely love it. Prayers for Ozzy. Prayers for you and your family, brother. Love you calling into the show and being a part of this thing. We'll talk soon, brother. God bless.
All right, bye.
Peace. We talked about Deshaun Watson, and now something even more troubling in the NFL is a new study from the British Medical Journal. I know. What are we doing talking about British people? They did a study on CTE, and we're going to talk about that study in just a moment here. But first, we'll take this call. What is up, brother? You are live on TBWZ. What's your name? Where are you calling in from?
My name is Jackson, Oklahoma.
Jackson from the great state of Oklahoma, Boomer Sooner.
Yes, sir.
Jackson, there's something that happens in the NCAA over the past 10 years. There's at least been one team that's preseason ranked top 10 to finish outside of the rankings entirely. When I went live last week, I asked people, what team in the top 10 for college football do you think will finish unranked? And a lot of people said Oklahoma. Jackson, what say you?
I don't know, man. I mean, top 3 defense in the country. I mean, usually that's a recipe for success. And, again, with a high-level offense, we're having, I think it was 14 returning starters on the offense. Yeah. I mean, dude, I don't understand how you could say that. I mean,
I know you only have 11 guys that start, but somehow Oklahoma's bringing back 14. I think the real thing here, Jackson, is if John Mateer was fully
hold
healthy,
on. You're right. Hold on. 14 returning players is what I meant. That's on me.
John Mateer, if he was fully healthy last year, I think they would have had a lot better chance against Texas, probably a better chance against Ole Miss, definitely a better chance against Bama in the playoff. I think John Mateer fully healthy is the key to you guys' season.
Yeah, no, I mean, 100%. I completely agree. If we have a more stable run game than years prior, I think we could be a really good team.
I love it. Jackson, you're calling in on today's show. What did you have in mind when you hit that dial?
No, I just don't think Deshaun Watson should be a quarterback in the NFL. I think he should have been suspended for life. I don't know, bro.
I hear your sentiment. I understand what you're saying. It's a league that's incredibly forgiving in some instances, and then others not. Like, I hate to compare what he did to what Ray Rice did to his girlfriend in the elevator, but Ray Rice did that terrible thing. We all saw the footage, and then he never played another NFL snap again, right?
That is true. Yeah, that is true.
I don't want to say, like, punching your wife in the face is worse than assaulting 40 women, but I feel like assaulting 40 women is far worse than punching your wife in the face.
I mean, it should be considered worse. Yeah, I would agree.
It's because he plays quarterback, and it's because he was unbelievable. Just the drop off, though, Jackson. I'm trying to understand the psyche of the human brain. When a guy throws for 4,800 yards, 33 touchdowns, and only 7 picks, and then 2 years later can barely play the sport, I'm like, what happened to the guy? Is it his brain? Is it his body? What happened to Deshaun Watson?
I don't know. I think he seemed like how bad they disrespected Baker Mayfield, and he just didn't want to win for the Browns. It's whatever.
The Browns are such a laughingstock organization, which I find funny because in the past 5 years, I think they've been to the playoffs 2 times. They went to the playoffs with Joe Flacco. They went to the playoffs with Baker Mayfield and made a slight run, too, when they had OBJ on that team and Jerry Jeudy. That team was nice. Like, the Browns have made the playoffs in the past few years, yet we just consider them a massive laughingstock, even though the Jets are way worse overall than the Browns. But you mentioned it. How this team would be good right now, a legit playoff threat in the AFC North if they just kept Baker Mayfield, but they let him walk.
I completely agree. I also think that Myles Garrett would never have been traded if they did have a competent quarterback at the helm. I think Baker Mayfield has proved himself for the Browns. I don't understand why they gave up on him so early. I mean, I guess a torn labrum, like, I guess you can have thoughts about that, saying, hey, man, maybe he might not be good in the future because you can re-injure it and stuff. But, I mean, he proved himself. And just a year prior to his injury, he let you out to the playoffs. So I just don't understand their mindset of releasing, that Baker Mayfield.
It's unreal. I mean, of the Oklahoma quarterbacks too, Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, I'll throw Caleb Williams in there, Spencer Rattler over the past few years.
Jalen Hurts,
Jalen Hurts. Baker by far is the most beloved by Oklahoma fans, and a lot of them have rooted for Tampa purely because of that guy.
Yeah.
How do you not keep a figure like that in your organization, an organization starving for success? You let him walk away, and now he's tearing it up for the Bucs, dude. It's a poorly run organization. What team are you a fan of, Jackson?
The Buccaneers.
You are, dude. There's a lot of you guys out there because Oklahoma doesn't have an NFL team, so a lot of you are just like, I'm cheering for the Bucs. I think Baker's in a contract year. I think he's going to have a good season. Can I say this though? Baker Mayfield next year plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers. In my opinion, I think he signs with them. Are you flipping to a Steelers fan after that?
I mean, dude, you can call me a team hopper, man, but I mean, I might.
I absolutely love it. Jackson, on this show, we do a question of the day every day, and today's question of the day is, do you have a dog, and what's their name?
I do not have a dog.
No dog. Do you have any pets?
I have a sugar glider. Do you know what that is?
No, not at all. Should I?
It's weird. It's like a little rodent. You gotta search it up, but yeah.
Okay, Jackson from Oklahoma with a sugar glider. I absolutely love it, bro. Thanks for calling. Thanks for following. God bless. We'll talk soon.
You too, brother.
Peace. PV even in the chat as well. Another Sooner fan saying, love me some Baker. What's a sugar glider? Can someone look this up on my own computer? Sugar glider. Sugar glider. That sounds like someone with a sugar glider is like someone with diabetes on a Segway or on a one wheel. It's gliding. This is a monkey. You have this in your house? You have a monkey in your house? It's a small nocturnal tree-dwelling marsupial. Oh, it's a marsupial. Native to Australia, Indonesia, and New Guinea. Do you know what makes a marsupial a marsupial? The presence of a pouch. Yes. Marsupials have pouches. Those are, koalas. Look at his hoe. This video's unavailable. Cool. Great. Sugar gliders, baby. I want to see one dancing around a living room. Oh no. Wait, what? Wait, this is so sad. Wait, guys, this video is so sad. No. Why's he got him on toilet paper? Oh. No, they're so cute. They're hanging on to her fingers. Bro. Oh, he's out and about with them. No, they're swimming. No, Bake Show, he meant 14 starters on offense. He's crazy. Wow, sugar gliders, awesome, man. Oh, congratulations, Jackson, for owning those. We are going to continue on with today's show, talking about a very, very sensitive topic in the NFL, which is CTE. A study by the British Medical Journal found that 25% of NFL players who died between 2016 and 2021 had CTE. Just a reminder, this was an independent study that was then picked up by ESPN. Okay? So, just to let you know, ESPN, they're league partners with the NFL. They play the games. They talk about the sport. They are in cahoots. There's a handshake agreement between ESPN and the NFL to not run stories that make our league look bad. What just happened with the 49ers owner and a loose woman of the night in Cleveland for $140? Anybody? Bueller? Jed York got in trouble, obviously, for soliciting women in the Ohio area. ESPN, it happened with about an hour left in First Take. ESPN talked about it for a minute and a half. Today, on Get Up, they talked about it for 2.5 minutes. It comes, it goes, hey, we talked about it. They don't say anything bad about the owner. They don't say anything bad about the Shield. They just present the facts and say what happened, and then they move on from the story. Because ESPN and the NFL have a handshake agreement not to say anything bad about the Shield. Don't say anything bad about us, and we'll let you play the games. And ESPN goes, okay. Hey, here's Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee's not going to talk about Jed York today. Okay? They're not. Because they're not going to show any stories that are negative towards the NFL. They also do it with the NBA. That's why ESPN's not talking about the Steve Ballmer, Kawhi Leonard, Aspiration, Daktronics, Pablo Torre story. Because they have a handshake agreement to be nice to each other. I need a handshake agreement with the chat to be nice to me. Come on, shake on it. I'm here. Be nice to me. But a study by the British Medical Journal found that 25% of NFL players who died between 2016 and 2021 had CTE. All of the quotes from ESPN on this story are that this 25% number that we just said, 25% of NFL athletes who died in the 5-year period of 2016 to 21 had CTE. 25%. But in actuality, the number is much, much higher than that. From 2016 to 2021, which is the period in which this study is taking place, is conducted. From 2016 to 2021, 878 former NFL players who appeared in at least one game passed away. In this 5-year span, they had 878 people die in that span that played at least one game in the NFL. 235 of the 878 families chose to donate their loved ones' brains to study the research on CTE done by Boston University and Mount Sinai and a couple other organizations around the world. So 878 players died between 2016 and 2021. 235 of the 878 donated their brains to research CTE, and the study found that 214 of the 235 brains donated, or 91%, had CTE. Let's talk about those numbers for just a second. ESPN is reporting that 25% of players in this period died from CTE. However, of the 878 people who died, only 235 of their brains were donated, and 214 of the 235 brains had CTE, which is 91%. The study basically concludes that on the lowest possible end, 25% of NFL athletes died from CTE in this time period. 25% on the lowest possible end. But the research found that 91% of the 25% that they studied had CTE. The 1 in 4 number is the absolute lowest, most conservative metric they could use based on this research, but the real numbers suggest that between 25% and 98% of the players died from CTE. This, of course, is chronic traumatic brain injury. This is a disease that happens over years of concussive acts to the brain. It's not like you hit your head really hard on a post one day and it's like, all right, now you're going to go buy a gun and do some horrible things, drive off a cliff. That's not CTE. It's not something that just pops up overnight from hitting your head hard one time. It's years and years and years and years of hitting your head over and over and over, and all of those injuries adding up and damaging your brain over time. That is CTE. It's chronic damage to the brain, essentially, okay? It's safe to say that over 90% of NFL athletes have CTE. Will it be the cause of their death? For some, yes. Unfortunately, that cause of death is not simply pausing of function of the human body, or not breathing, or lack of oxygen to the brain, something like that. It's usually a death that is self-inflicted. That is what CTE does to the human brain. We have multiple cases of NFL athletes taking their lives via firearm, and instead of going to the dome, they go to the heart because they want their brain to be studied because they know something is wrong with it. Kyle Hamilton, safety of the Baltimore Ravens, was quoted saying, "I see it as I fall on my sword for people who have provided for me and people that I will provide for." The current athletes in the NFL fully know that they're going to get CTE. There's no one out there who's like, well, maybe I can avoid it if I do this. There's nobody out there playing in the NFL that believe that when it's all said and done, they won't have CTE. They all think they will. And guess what? This study suggests that probably 90% will. How many will die from it? That's a different number. But they will have CTE. It is, Drake. Kyle Hamilton said, "I see it as I fall on my sword." He didn't say, "I see it, this is a great opportunity, I'll take the negatives that come with it." He didn't see this as, it's life-changing wealth for my family. He portrays himself as a warrior, falling on his sword for the people who have provided for me and people that I will provide for. He's talking about his family. He has the skills and the talents to play in the NFL. And he knows the risks associated with that. He says he's falling on his sword for his family, for the people that love him. That is a warrior mentality, because that's what these guys are. They're warriors. If you've played football at any level, high school and beyond, you understand that going out there and playing football is war. It is a legal fist fight. My head coach, Doug Case, used to say, for the next 40 minutes, at 40 minutes, it's going to be written in stone. It's going to be written in stone. You have 40 minutes, 10-minute quarters. You have 40 minutes right now to go fight legally. No one's going to arrest you for punching someone in the face right now. No one's going to arrest you for kicking a man when he's down. You're not going to get arrested by cops right now for absolutely brutalizing your opponent. Because in football, violence is legal. Violence is necessary. Violence is a part of the game. I played quarterback and safety and wide receiver. Football is a violent sport. The reason we love the game is because of the violence, in a way. I love the beauty of football. I love seeing a nice deep ball down the field, right? Beautiful end-over-end throw, a perfect parabola. Guided softly by the winds, perfectly nestled into the basket of arms that are a wide receiver. I love seeing someone hit a spin move and get juked out of their shoes, right? I love seeing someone hurdle another player. I love seeing the beauty and the majesty and the pageantry of football. But I also like when that guy tries to hurdle a player and then the guy goes and lifts him up and sends him straight on his back. I like when that deep ball to that wide receiver open down the field is met with a safety, glass on glass, right in his face, popping that brother, not letting him catch the ball. I like when the spin move is met immediately by a little middle linebacker saying, little boy. I love watching a quarterback drop back and evade a sack and run around the field and throw the ball deep downfield and got to slide out of bounds. I love that. I also like watching the quarterback get sacked because we love football. And football is a violent sport. You cannot legislate the violence out of football. And the only way to truly protect these players from CTE is to remove the violence from the game. It's going to happen. It will. There is no world in which you can continue to play football the way that it's played and expect brain injuries to go down. I put a clip on TikTok of me saying this yesterday, and someone commented, the only thing that they could do is increase the technology of the helmet, make the helmets safer, make the helmets better, so they don't have concussive respirations. No, it's breathing. They basically said you can increase the technology of the helmet and make the helmet safer, thus making the sport safer. If you give a man a helmet that's going to protect him from brain injuries, and you're utilizing that helmet in a competitive sport, you're going to find a way to throw your head around a little bit more. You know, when we were in high school, we were taught, use your head as a weapon. When I was running the football, use your head as a weapon. I would run the ball, middle linebacker would try to tackle me as he is, I would crack him right on the top of his head with my face mask, with my face. I would crack him right on the top of the head. And then he'd be like, and fall over. And I would high knee through him and try to knee him in the chin. That was my goal. If I got a middle linebacker right in my face who's planted, ready to tackle me, I would lower my shoulder, crack with my helmet, and as he falls down, high knee and try to get him right underneath the chin and try to pop him in the chin, break his jaw. That was my goal. That was what I wanted to do. You give the guys better helmets, they're just going to use their helmets more. That is the first thing, okay? Second part of this whole thing, and my friend Drake got to it pretty quick. You cannot remove the violence from the game and people still want to watch it. That's not going to happen. The NFL's tried. Look at what they've done with flag football. The NFL is part of the legislative body that got flag football into the Olympics. That was no accident. That wasn't some dude on the Olympic committee who saw Patrick Mahomes play a couple times and was like, hey, we should make this an Olympic sport. That was the NFL trying to grow their game of football. Not tackle football, flag football. Because the NFL understands that if players continue to die, if players continue to hurt other people around them, if players like Antonio Brown continue to go crazy, Chandler Jones continue to go crazy, Junior Seau continue to go crazy, if players continue to do that, continue to hurt themselves, continue to hurt those around them, the NFL is going to have a massive problem on their hands. They do. They've been trying to grow the game of flag football because of this reason, because of the fears associated with CTE. But if you remove the violence from this game, you ruin the game of football. Football is a violent sport. It's the way football was designed long, long ago. And it's one of the reasons we absolutely love it. I like watching guys get hit hard. I hate seeing injuries, but I like the violence in the sport. I don't want to see a guy get a concussion, but I like watching guys get knocked out on the field. I like when they throw a little bubble screen and the guy instantly is just getting absolutely popped out of his mind. I like hard hits. I like when a middle linebacker throws himself so hard at a running back that the ball pops out of his arms 10 yards down the field. I love it. And if you don't love it, maybe you don't love football. I like the finesse parts of it. I really do. But it's the finesse and the brute strength that make football what it is. Will's in the chat. What's up, Will? Well, there's a question. Do rugby players get a lot of CTE? No, they don't. Rugby players do not. The way that rugby players tackle each other is in a way that you would tackle another human if you were not wearing a helmet. They wrap and they drag to the ground. That's what they do in rugby because they're not protective. They don't have anything protecting their head. If I just took the helmets off all of the NFL athletes and they kept the shoulder pads, nobody would be using their head because they would die. Everyone would be way, way, way more protective if you took the helmet off. But by giving them a helmet, it allows them to be more violent. When you get into a car that's from 1970 and the engine doesn't work very well and it has no airbags and it's a big hunk of metal, you got to drive that thing a little bit slower because you know it's a little bit more dangerous, right? You got to drive that thing a little bit slower. If I give you a state-of-the-art machine with the best brakes in the world and a brand new engine and an incredible safety rating, you're going to feel a lot more comfortable flying around on the highway because you know that this machine is going to keep you safe for the most part. The NFL player goes out and plays football and hits people the way they do because they know they're wearing a helmet, because they have something protecting them. Rugby is a lot safer than tackle football because they removed the helmet. They got rid of that part. They got rid of the protection. Thus, the players don't fly around at each other trying to kill each other because they don't want to kill themselves in the process. Football doesn't have that. Football brought pads to the game. Football is derived from the sport of rugby. Our friends at Football Archaeology do a really, really cool breakdown on how football was invented. And it's derived from the sport of rugby. Rugby came first. And then they started playing football. And the inception of it was really setting up plays when they paused between games. They paused between plays. Because rugby, go Chargers, baby. What up, Wyatt? Rugby is kind of a continuous game, almost like soccer or basketball, where it just kind of continues on. There's not like stopping and starting like there is in football or baseball. Football is really the only game where you stop and start and set up a strategy and then go after it. But because of helmets, it allows players to fly around and hurt each other even more. Guardian caps are going to be more popular. I know that. They will. But that just gives you even more credence to use your head. Does that make any sense? By increasing the safety of the helmets, you're not going to increase the safety of the players because they're just going to fly around even heavier knowing that they're going to be protected. Another huge issue that this sport has, and a lot of sports around the world, guys are moving way too quickly. Fred Warner is too fast. Fred Warner is 6'1", 220 pounds, built like a freight train, and he runs a 4.4 40. 20 years ago, a guy in the NFL in 2007 that was 6'1", played linebacker, and was 230 pounds, ran like a 5.0 40. Those guys were not known for being super fast. These guys are bigger than they've ever been. These guys are stronger than they've ever been, and they're faster than they've ever been. That's why we've seen an increase in injuries. The NBA has more non-contact injuries than they've ever had in the history of the NBA because guys are moving faster and jumping higher than they ever had in the history of human beings. There is a point where the human body breaks. There is a point where knees cannot sustain the athleticism that is being put upon them. Shaq is quoted saying, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was quoted saying, Rafaela with another diving catch in center field. That's 2 on the day. Oh, no, it was a hit. Xavier Edwards? No, it was an out. No, it was a hit. I don't know. Sonny Gray. Bounce back here for Sonny Gray. What an unbelievable time. Blah, blah, blah. Cam Chancellor downhill. Yes, sir, bro. Fill a hole. Come on now. Love hits. Love watching Cam Chancellor hit. The Legion of Boom was awesome, not because of them running and being fast. The Legion of Boom was awesome because they absolutely destroyed their opponent physically and mentally. Guys in the NBA, their knees are going down, their Achilles are going down, their ACLs are going down because the human body is moving too fast, and it's too big, and it's too strong. And there are limits to this thing. You're not going to put a Ferrari in a semi-truck, and you're not going to put a Ferrari engine in a semi-truck. That just won't work. It won't be able to brake fast enough because it's too heavy. That's what we're doing. We're putting Ferrari sports car engines in F-250 dualies. And we're like, go at it. Have fun. And these guys are absolutely destroying each other. There's just no having your cake and eating it too in this situation with CTE in the NFL. There isn't. You're not going to be able to keep the sport violent